Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Blind Guy,
His Wife,
and Their Life. People always ask me, how do I get things done when I can't see? And that's one of the reasons that we created the Blind Guy Olympics, which provides opportunities for people who can see to learn from someone who can't see and vice versa. But before we start, don't forget to bum rush the buttons.
Guys, you know what to do. If you are excited about the Blind Guy Olympics, give it a thumbs up. And of course, share it with someone. That way they might find the value in this episode as well. So Corey, let's get started. But why do you have that half-naked baby?
Oh, this half-naked baby is our latest grandchild. Basically, we're going to use this as part of our Blind Guy Olympic event today called the Baby Challenge. This will give people a chance to see how I got things done as a father who couldn't see when LaQuita Marie wasn't home. How I fed the baby, changed the baby, and dressed the babies. So let's meet our three contestants, Crystal, Keena, and Stanford, and jump right into the action of the Baby Challenge.
All right, Corey, so here we are in round one, and everybody's ready. You just gave them their directions. Everybody's baby is laying on the table, except for Stanford. He's actually cradling his baby, but once you had them go, Stanford laid the baby down. He started pouring the water across. He was actually pouring it over himself, because I noticed he was spilling water out. Crystal and Keena looked like they were leaning on their babies while they were pouring the water.
Somebody called Dog Protective Services because they look like they put forearms in the baby's chest.
Yeah. Well, sort of like just the throat chop. But anyways, Stanford had so they had to feed the baby first. And they had to put the water in the bottle. So he was the first, and then undress the baby so they wouldn't mess up the baby's clothes.
Yeah, I would always feed the children after I undressed them, so that way, whatever mess was made, I can wipe them off rather than having to put on a whole new set of clothes.
Oh, so that's why with this challenge they had to undress the baby before feeding.
Right.
Okay, so Stanford got his clothes off first. Crystal was coming in close second, not super close, and Keena was just scrambling. She was in a distant third at this point, but she was getting it. I
think part of the problem is because when the children that were simulating the baby cry in the background, that puts pressure on you. And I know when I was a new father with infants and they would be crying, I would get kind of frantic right along with them and try to rush. But my mother and my grandmother always said, there's not a baby yet that's died from crying, because that's what they're built to do. They're built to cry, to communicate. So once I just settled down and started taking my time and making their food, realizing I know the problem, they want to eat, let me get the food together and get it to them, I would go ahead and take my time and make less of a mess. And I would always do things over the sink, or try to do things over the sink as much as possible in case I made a mess. And I never did anything with the baby in my arm, because that's a recipe for disaster, especially when they're reaching for stuff, when they get to that age where they can move and reach for stuff. And for a blind person doing something with one hand, that's not a good idea.
Not at all. All right, let's see what happens next. All right, so as soon as we get into this part of the competition, Crystal is wiping her baby's face with the wipe. It's supposed to be a baby wipe. We were using napkins. They told her that her baby was getting doused because she was giving 2 spoonfuls of food, water. Stanford is following close behind. Keena is gaining speed as well. She's feeding her baby.
Yeah, and Keena's doing it laying down, so baby alive is probably baby dead, because she's probably choked the baby. I never fed the babies laying down with this, so don't even look at me thinking I did that, and she got that from me.
Okay, all right. Well, she started with the baby cradle. It got too difficult, so she laid the baby down. Stanford put water on his wipe to make it more realistic. He's wiping front to back, but then his baby started doing a handstand because he was showing off, and that's how Crystal started to gain on him. She is getting into first place right here because her diaper is off. He's playing games with the wife.
So let's see how it goes once they hit the home stretch.
All right, Corey, so as we get into the home stretch here, Crystal and Stanford are both getting their dolls' dresses on, or their baby's dresses on, but Keena is throat chopping her doll.
Again, someone called Dog Protective Services.
I don't know what's going on. She's trying to get the diaper off. Keena is throat chopping the baby to hold her still while she tries to get the tabs off the diaper. Crystal and Stanford are still straightening out their dresses when Keena got the diaper off. She figured out just to slide it down, and that's when she starts to diaper her baby. Stanford, Crystal is patting her baby on the back for the win.
Yeah, it's pretty much a wrap at this point. Crystal gets the gold medal, Stanford gets the bronze medal, or the silver medal, I should say, and Keena, she gets like a piece of wood. I don't know if she ever finished getting the baby dressed and changed, so Keena gets the wood medal.
Well, let's go on. Let's see how we wrap it up. All right, Corey, that was a lot of fun. Crystal got the gold, Stanford got the silver,
and Keena got the wood.
Keena was proud. Keena finished. She came in third. She got her baby's dress on, inside out, but hey, she got it done. She completed it. So show us how you used to feed our kids, because I would express milk, but if I wasn't home, it would be in a bottle.
The bottle will be pre-made. I would warm it up. It's all about having clean hands. So because you're going to have to touch the baby's mouth, and you find the baby's mouth, the corner of their mouth, and they'll usually turn their heads to the bottle. I would hold them at a pretty much the same angle LaQuita would hold them at nursing. That way I knew it wasn't going down their throat too fast. So that's how I would do the bottles. Now when it came to the food, they were a little bit older, they were sitting up. So I would sit them in front of me like this, and I put my arm across them because of course their little hands are waving around. They were 6, 7, 8 months old by the time I'm feeding them food. So it's the same thing, gotta have clean hands. I get the cup as close to them as possible, and I take the spoon, tap it out, I locate their mouth. We had greedy babies, so they would actually help. They would start like pulling the spoon, my hand with the spoon towards their mouth. And I'm like, wait a minute now. And that's why I would always take the clothes off before I fed them, because it could tend to be a mess. Bottom line for me is, yes, it's possible for somebody that's blind to independently take care of a baby. I did it, got 3 kids, nobody's dead. They're all still here, right?
I mean, I guess if that's your measurement of success, we did have a chance to catch up with the contestants. So let's hear what they all thought.
I was really confident because I figured I had 3 kids. One is still in Pampers, that I was a pro at changing Pampers and feeding the baby, so I thought, I was good.
Well, after 20 years in the Army, I'm trained for anything, and I proved myself today.
But you lost.
I lost because she cheated. My baby had a wet diaper to the butt. All luxuries that the baby needs.
I had a fairly high confidence. I don't have any kids, but I have 2 nieces and a nephew, so I thought I would at least do better than Stanford. That was my goal.
I was pretty confident before anybody did the competition, and then when I saw the adults like struggling, I was like, oh no.
What about you, Kai?
I couldn't see if it was inside out or backwards.
What about you, Christiana? What's the hardest thing for you to do blindfolded for the baby?
Put on a diaper, definitely. I had to turn the baby on her head and fasten the diaper. Put them on like pants. Your baby's instead of a baby alive, your baby's a dead alive.
Brooklyn, how confident were you going into this competition that you'd be able to successfully feed, change, and dress a baby while being blindfolded?
I was really confident. I thought I was going to get it the first time. And I thought I was going to do it and it was going to be really easy.
When I got the blindfold on, I was like, wait, what? And it was just hard, so. And putting on this diaper was pretty hard.
What about for you, Brooklyn?
And the hardest part was feeding the baby.
Was it helpful to have somebody there coaching you along?
I wouldn't even know what I was doing if without a coach, because he was talking, helping me out. Taking care of a baby is hard, but it's harder like when you can't see.
Oh, now to change this. Did you even little dark?
Shiloh has a unique way of. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Blind Olympics, the Baby Challenge. Corey, this hopefully answered a lot of questions because people would always ask you, how do you take care of the kids? How do you feed the kids? How do you know if they're asleep? Hope this was valuable information for you.
Now, if you found this information valuable, somebody else can find some value in this too. So make sure that you share this information with them. Don't forget to bum rush the button.
Oh, bum rush. In other words, like hit them hard. Go hit the like button. Share this information with someone else. Subscribe to the channel. This way you won't miss any content.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of A Blind Guy,
His Wife,
and Their Life. Goodbye.